40 years ago, my father Terry designed the master plan for Newcastle Quayside. Even he would not have believed the success story it's become. When you think of Newcastle, you think of the Quayside, a place where the city meets the river and where the past and the future sit side by side. The Quayside feels timeless. It feels like it's always been like this, which is why its story matters, because this stretch of the Tyne was once a completely different place.
It was a no-go area. You wouldn't go down the Quayside at all.
The smell that came off the river was absolutely disgusting.
There was the market, which people used to come down for, but it was definitely not a destination.
The Quayside area was a bit of a no-go area, certainly at night time. What we now experience as the Quayside, as this place for work, employment and leisure, that wasn't available then.
It transformed what was an old industrial river frontage into something, a riverfront that I think is second to none. And it gave a sort of confidence and civic pride that allowed the city to develop and flourish. Well, I don't think that the Quayside that we see today would have been possible without brave, long-term public sector leadership. To be able to deliver it, they needed a different sort of delivery vehicle, and that's where the Tyne and Wear Development Corporation came in, which brought in government and the private sector to work alongside the council on delivering that long-term project.
The Development Corporation funded the walkways along the quayside, the repairs to the quay edge, creating the service plots, which made it absolutely critical, that infrastructure, to be able to pave the way for the developments coming forward. It changed the perception of the area.
The River Tyne was polluted with raw untreated sewage coming out of the city. So someone had the vision to invest in infrastructure, and that was to build an interceptor sewer that essentially caught the sewage as it came down from the city towards the river, captured it and then pumped it up and out again.
You know, the law courts going on to the Quayside was a big, important means of drawing people down there. The co-op offices becoming the Malmaison gave real confidence. But you know, when Sir Terry started off, I'm sure he didn't, know that was going to happen. But there was enough of a framework and long-term vision to be able to then pick up on those opportunities.
The public sectors was very much about the long term. It was very much about creating that long-term vision, having the master plans, having the design documents, having the access strategies, so that the private sector could come in with their knowledge and bring commercial schemes to develop the sites, essentially. So they did complement each other in that way.
One of the core themes of the master plan and the master plan process that evolved is that we wanted different teams working on different phases of development, and we wanted a uniqueness to each individual building, and we felt that the right way of doing that was to not only embrace what was there, take account of what was there, but actually have new teams working on each individual phase that would bring their own unique approach. And I think that's worked.
It is absolutely magical, and when you're walking through it, you can feel a part of that magic, but also you know that it's not a static place. It's not like an old town and a new town, or an old city and a new city. You're just part of the history and the future all at once, and that's quite difficult to achieve.
I always like, because I'm a bit of a nerd with these things, looking back at a master plan when a scheme has been well progressed, as buildings are put in place. And quite often what you can see is, you can see the grain of the original master plan. You can recognise it, but you can immediately recognise evolution. You can see where, you know, the team have responded to changes in demand and living patterns and what have you. But at its heart, you can see what the master planner's original intent was. And you can very much see that with the Farrell master plan for the Quayside.
The Quayside led to Newcastle and Gateshead working together either side of the river to create a waterfront that is of world class on both sides of the river, with the Sage, the Baltic, and the Millennium Bridge that then connected the two. And the things that make Newcastle Gateshead what it is, it's really about culture and people at the end of the day, isn't it?
The way that the industry has followed in terms of that absolutely true public-private partnership, that understanding that place isn't about the bricks and mortar per se, it's about how people feel about a place. And I think you can see traces, to a greater or lesser extent, of both the master plan and the delivery vehicle and the mechanism to deliver it up and down the country now in successful regeneration schemes.
From the very people that funded it, supported it, presented it, were involved in it, that passed through it, that commented about it, the people that had a pride in it, people inevitably were one of the key reasons why it was so successful.
The Quayside and the river and the bridges and the architecture, for me, represent everything that is brilliant about Newcastle and being a Geordie. We've managed to curate a beautiful place with fabulous architecture that people feel is theirs, and we're doing that under the ambition of some fantastic engineering and a brilliant river, and we've managed to combine all those things that really sings to people's well-being.
I love being here, regardless of the weather. I love being down the quayside. They've done an excellent job.
Because they've got the old buildings and the new, and the bridges work out very well. And
I like the Millennium Bridge and the bit around here. I think that's quite nice.
I think it's like a super important part of our identity.
It's a dry day, we'll always walk on as a family because it's just like peaceful. We just like it.
I would just come here in the evening sometimes, just come for a walk. It's a really nice place, very vibrant.
I think it just feels like home, doesn't it? Like
yeah.
it just draws you down.
40 years on, the Quayside isn't just a success story for urban regeneration. It's become the stage where the city expresses itself. A symbol of long-term vision, leadership, and partnership. For this anniversary, we mustn't just celebrate what's been achieved. We should ask ourselves, what kind of a city are we building for the future?